Today is August 7th. It's the 220th day of the year, and this is the On This Day podcast. Quick note, I seem to have come down with a flash cold, so I apologize in advance if my voice sounds a little thicker than usual, or if the performance is a little lackluster. But the show must go on. Born on this day in 1928, the Amazing Randi. James Randi is born Randall Zwingli in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. As a young boy, he attends a matinee show by magician Harry Blackstone Sr., a luminary of the 20th century. He watches Blackstone levitate a woman on stage, and he's captivated by the levitation, baffled by it, and after working it through his brain, he figures it must be a trick, and he needs to find out how it's done. So after the show, he goes to the backstage door and meets Blackstone, who gives the young Randy a tour of the stage and of his dressing room, signs a poster for him, and teaches him a basic magic move. Randy is thrilled. He practices the move for months and devotes himself to the arts of magic and illusion. The Amazing Randi achieves international fame as a magician and as an escape artist. Randy makes a whole career out of being a magician, but he never claims to do magic. He refers to himself as a conjurer, prestidigitator, liar, cheat, and fake. And in 1972, Randi begins a second career as an investigator and demystifier of pseudoscientific and paranormal claims, exposing psychics and faith healers who defraud people by using the same kinds of tricks he uses for entertainment. Randi famously takes on the spoon-bending psychic Uri Geller, revealing him to be a fraud. He also takes down faith healers such as Peter Popoff. And for nearly 2 decades, Randi offers a $1 million prize to, quote, anyone who can show under proper observing conditions evidence of any paranormal, supernatural, or occult power. And by anyone, he means psychics, cold readers and spiritualists, psychic surgeons, spoonbenders, remote viewers, people who see auras, claim dowsing powers, experience stigmata. Plenty of people say they'll take Randi up on his $1 million challenge. Few actually ever agree to be tested, and none ever pass the test. Randi never parts with a penny. But while Randi devotes his public life to exposing fraud, deceit, hoaxes, and cons, he has a deception at the very center of his personal life. In his 2015 documentary called An Honest Liar, it's revealed that Randi has, for many years, well, it wouldn't be any fun if I ruined the surprise for you, would it? Master illusionist, author, and the godfather of skepticism, James Randi, born on this day in 1928. Born on this day in 1958, Bruce Dickinson, lead singer of Iron Maiden. Dickinson is born in Worksop, Nottinghamshire, in England. Like all rock singers and musicians of the second half of the 20th century, he's influenced by the Beatles at an early age. The first record he owns is the single She Loves You. In his teens, he gravitates towards a heavier sound. Sabbath, Purple, The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. He does a stint in the Army Reserves, but that's not for him. So he goes to college and starts singing in bands. He fronts the band Samson, which they see some moderate success, and then he auditions for a band that he really wants to be in, Iron Maiden. Samson plays some shows with Maiden, and Dickinson can see that they're tight and professional, and their sound is totally in sync with what he is all about. Dickinson is tapped as Iron Maiden's lead singer, and the band goes on to great success. He brings a vaguely operatic voice to the exceptionally dramatic sound of the band. Maiden cranks out albums, tours the world, and Dickinson embarks on a solo career in the middle of all of that. It's all more than enough to keep one man busy. But it's not quite enough for Bruce Dickinson. He takes up flying, and in the 1990s he earns his pilot's license, getting qualified on small planes, and then bigger planes, and then the really big planes. Sure, there are other celebrities who have pilot's licenses. We all know about Tom Cruise, who not only likes to fly, but also dangle off the side of airplanes. We know John Travolta likes to fly. We know Harrison Ford flies vintage airplanes because he crashed his on a golf course. Maybe you didn't know that model Gisele Bündchen is qualified as a helicopter pilot, or Morgan Freeman or Hilary Swank, that they have pilot's licenses. But Bruce Dickinson not only flies as a hobby, he holds an airline transport pilot's license. And for several years in the mid-2000s, when he's not on tour with Iron Maiden, he works as a commercial transport pilot, flying 757s for a British charter and cargo transport company. When Iron Maiden embarks on a world tour in 2008, they charter a plane, modify it to carry the crew and their gear, and Dickinson flies the band all around the world, aboard a 757 christened Ed Force One, after the band's mascot Eddie, the skeletal whatever he is. That tour is filmed for the documentary Iron Maiden Flight 666. If you haven't seen it, check it out. There's no conflict in the film, there's no great mystery or twist ending, and I'll be honest, I was never a huge Iron Maiden fan when I was younger, although Nico McBrain can sure pound the tubs. But the documentary Flight 666 is highly entertaining, and Dickinson is featured in it, decked out in his pilot's uniform, with a tie, epaulets, and all. It's just a fun film. He flies the band around the world again on their 2011 tour, and for their most recent tour in 2016, he undertakes what's called a type conversion in order to qualify to fly the band around on a new Ed Force One. This one, a 747 jumbo jet. Top that, Tom Cruise. Bruce Dickinson, born on this day in 1958, is a true Renaissance man, a polymath. He is not only the lead singer for one of the greatest heavy metal bands in history, and a commercial aviation pilot. He also owns and operates Cardiff Aviation, an aircraft maintenance and repair business. He's competed in world-class competitive fencing championships. He brews the beer Trooper with Robinson's Brewery in Stockport, England. He flies a World War I-era German triplane in Great War reenactments. And he's hosted a number of TV and radio shows over the past decade and a half. So, what do you got going on today? There are 146 days left in the year. On This Day is produced by me, Dave Schultz. Thank you for listening.